Good afternoon, Year 6. It's Mr. Tuckwell with the final session of this week's home learning. And to start with, I've got a few questions on fractions that we're going to have a go at to begin the lesson. Today, it's all about fractions of amounts. And there are a number of questions that ask you, would you rather a quarter of £8, a half of £4, or a third of £9? Now remember, when we're finding fractions of amounts, we divide the amount that we want to find, such as 35 in this case, by the denominator. So we start with 35 divided by 5, which gives us 7, and we multiply that 7 by the numerator, which in this case is 2, and that gives us an answer of 14. Have a go at the questions, press pause, and as we've done for the last few sessions, I'll come back with the answers shortly. So here are the answers for you just to check, and we'll move on now to the next part of the lesson, which is all about position and movement. And today we're going to have a look at translation. Now, unfortunately, the Maths No Problem in focus task didn't work well on a video. I need to have you there in the lesson to be able to explain and for you to have the sheets in front of you to be able to do the task. So instead I found one that's a little bit easier to do online. We have a coordinate grid here. It's only one quadrant and it goes from 1 to 12. And what I want you to do is to look at the dots that are here. You've got a number of different coloured dots. I'll just zoom in so that you can see them a little bit easier, and we'll then be able to scroll down and then to look at them. So you've got a green dot here, and the first question asks you to write down the coordinate of the green dot. So as we've done before, we're going to go along the x-axis to make 5 and then up to make 10. So we've got 5, 10. Then it asks us to do something new, which is to translate right 4 down 2. So we've got to move across right 1, 2, 3, 4, and then down 2, 1, 2, to a new position, which is here. And that coordinate is 9, 8. So you're going to write that into the box here. I'd like you to repeat that for the remaining coordinates. So what I'm going to do is leave this here, and then I'll scroll down so you can pause it again, and you'll have to go between the two to make it easier. Alternatively, you might find that if your screen's big enough that you'll be able to see once I come out of the full screen, that you'll be able to see all the dots there and be able to do it from this screen here. So press pause on either one and then have a go. So here are the answers. You'll just have to work out where sometimes it's scrolled down where I've put them in. You just have to work out that this one, for example, is the black one, and then this one's the red one, and so on. So you should be able to have a go at looking at the answers and then seeing which ones you've got right. Okay, so we're moving on now. And this is from the guided practice of the Maths No Problem book. What it's asking you to do is to describe the translation that moves this red character here. You've got to describe the translation that moves the red character firstly to the blue one here. I'm going to start us off. That one, you can see, has just moved 1, 2, 3 steps to the left. So we can just put 3 to the left, and then we need to put down where the character goes next. So after it's been from the blue, where it's going to go to the green, and then after the green to the purple, and from the purple to the yellow. Have a go. Write it down on a scrap piece of paper, and I'll show you the answers in the next slide. One thing I forgot to mention is we're looking at the coordinate of this x here. So that's the dot there. If you look really closely, it's that point there where my four arrows are pointing. So this one here is where the coordinate is. So when it's moved to this point, it's moved to the coordinate -7, 3. And then we can carry on. Okay, have a go at the task, and then we'll have a look at the answers shortly. And here are the answers. You can see the different coordinates of where that x would be. So for example, when it goes to the green one here, you can see just in there that it would be the 9 units, the 6, 3. It's gone 10 units to the right from the last figure, and it's 6 across and then 3 up. finally today, we've got the worksheet from the Maths No Problem book. And it asks us to think about what Lulu's done here when she describes how she moves her rectangle PQRS to the position of rectangle A. So here is the rectangle P, Q, R and S, and she has picked it up and moved it over here without changing it at all. And what you've got to do is describe how it's been moved in the style of Lulu's writing. So Lulu said that she's translated it 5 units to the left. And we can see that. So if we take point R, for example, it's moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units to the left. Now after that, it would also like us to write down the coordinates of the position where the original point R ends up. So we can see that R already has gone to here. And what's the coordinate of that point? And what's the coordinate of R on the point on the rectangle B? What's the coordinate of R on rectangle C? Have a go at the questions, and as we have done for the rest of this week, we'll then go through the answers. Okay, so here are the answers. With a rectangle B, 6 units to the left and 5 units down. Rectangle C, 7 units down. And describe the translation that moves rectangle B to rectangle C, 6 units to the right and 2 units down. And finally, these are the coordinates of point R on each one of the 3 rectangles. Thank you for your learning this week, Year 6. Hope you again found it useful. I'll be back the following week to take us through our next set of home learning lessons. If you're wanting extra challenges, please use the BBC Bite Size site. There's some extra maths on there, or alternatively you can use Enrich, which is another site that has challenges for children to do with maths. Goodbye for now.